Welcome to Backstory Song. I'm your host, Doug Burke, and today we're here with the brothers Michael and Demitri Lerios of the band Fox Wilde. The brothers Michael and Demitri Lerios of Fox Wilde began playing together when they were children. The sons of 90s yacht rock Pablo Cruz founder Corey Lerios, they formed the band Fox Wilde after writing music for pop stars like Demi Lovato and James Maslow. They're both multi-instrumentalists, and they write songs with a strong pop sensibility, so much so that their songs have garnered over 1 million streams on Spotify. I am here with the band Fox Wilde, which consists of Michael and Demitri Lerios.
Yes.
And
thanks for having us.
No, it's great for you guys to be here. So why don't we just do an overview of your band and who you guys are, just a quick snapshot, and then we'll dive into one of your songs.
Great. Let's do it. Yeah, I mean, to kick it off, Demitri and I are obviously same last name, brothers. I'm older. He's my baby brother. Just getting into music and what got us into music was our father. And our dad is Corey Lerios. He was part of the band Pablo Cruz in the 70s and 80s. And growing up, we were always around music and playing music and learning instruments. And it was really a passion of ours. And Demitri and I came to play together through kind of, this building a friendship through music. And I don't know, Demitri, if you want to.
That's right. Due to the age gap, I always wanted to hang out with Michael. But being the fact that he was the older brother, he didn't want to hang out with his younger brother. So kind of I saw he was picking up guitar. So my kind of idea was I should, what does a guitar player need? They need a drummer. So I started playing drums. I picked it up, and that was really the first incarnation of our musical experience together. Yeah. And we would just kind of jam for hours. Who knows? It was probably not very good. Actually, I can probably say it wasn't good. But we I think from being in that experience together, playing together, we kind of got this second hand. Looking at each other, we kind of like knew where we were going when we were playing, and that kind of led into where we are today. In this
that was the beginning of us playing together, and then we had a band before Fox Wilde, and we were signed to Universal. We were under David Foster, and it was a very pop act. And Demitri was playing drums for that band. He wasn't the front man; he was back there jamming away, banging away, and when that band ended, that's when we started writing together and writing music. And we wrote one of our first songs 3 years ago. That was kind of the beginning of Fox Wilde. And, we realized that the connection we had playing live went further than just the live show. It went into writing the music and connecting through the melodies and the lyrics and, sharing this growth in our life and going through things and being brothers. It was very easy for us to connect and open up to each other when we were writing these songs. So I think 3 years ago was really when we hit that stride and Fox Wilde was born.
So you guys sent me 4 songs you want to talk about. Soap, Strangers on the Run, Angel, and Life.
Yes.
Which one do you want to talk about first?
That's a good question. We can talk about Soap.
Okay.
I think Soap's a nice place to start.
I'm
pretty risque song.
Yes. A little bit.
Some hints of it. Risqueness.
Yeah. I think so Soap wasn't the first song we wrote together, but it was definitely that first song of Fox Wilde. And we were coming out of this very pop-driven band. And in our last band, we were able to write with a lot of great writers and producers in the pop world. And during that time, we soaked up a lot of that knowledge of how to write those songs and what, pop writing meant. And I think, Soap was kind of that ode to those songwriters and producers we worked with and kind of what we learned in a nutshell. So we were kind of bridging the gap with our own style, but also keeping it very pop with the choruses and the hooks and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to add to that reason, Soap's special is, I think, even though it wasn't the first song we had written together, it was, as Michael said, it was the first real song that felt like Fox Wilde, or at least the beginning of Fox Wilde. We were coming off of a dry spell of writing, actually. So we weren't really writing a lot at that time. And when Soap happened, when we went in, I had the riff for Soap, and it was that kind of dun 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 dun. And so I showed Michael, and he goes, do you have a title? We usually like to write from a title. And I go, no, I don't. I mean, this thing's called Soap. I usually name my projects just random things. I'll see something and I'll go, okay, let's name it. Sometimes it'll be, just so random. And it was Soap. And he kind of goes, I kind of like Soap. I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, Soap. Yeah. And we started kind of jumping back and forth, and we go, yeah, you know what? There could be something to it. And I think that was one of the fun parts about writing this song, because it was, we were given that title, and we were like, how do we make this interesting? And it kind of did turn into a risque kind of
trying to keep the edge
concept, but
right?
That was, a special moment for us. And I think also what made it special is it was the first song we released. We were, so lucky to have the response we did have. We didn't expect to have that response, to the song, and people genuinely seemed to like it. And that was a nice thing for us, just because I think we were coming off that dry spell of writing, and we were like, oh, well, what are we going to write? And after Soap, the next songs kind of led
from that one song.
From that one song.
Kind of a trilogy after that of songs that we wrote and released.
So Soap's about taking a bath.
It is. You got it. Right? It's about being clean. It's cleanliness. It's hygiene. It's important.
What is Soap about for you guys?
Well, I don't know if there's much like there's.
I think writing the lyrics, like when we were writing those lyrics, it was very much like Demitri said. We had this title, and it was like, that's a cool title that's off the wall, and it's like, how do we make this work and make it cool and kind of.
In all honesty, it was kind of an exercise. Because we were coming off that dry spell, so we were kind of like, I don't think it was anything very personal. However, there are times where you're like, it's like the lyrics do,
the double entendre is exactly. Like a very fun way to, write music. And it was very much something we learned from, writing with past writers. Like, we were in the room with guys like Andreas Carlson and people who wrote very well crafted pop music that had sometimes had these double entendres right. That, it'd be like, well, wait, what are they really talking? Like, you dig into the lyrics and you're like, oh.
To piggyback off that, Andreas, a little backstory of who he is. He is one of our mentors, and for really the better part of those years of being signed, he took us under his wing and really taught us the trades of writing pop songs. Andreas has written Bye Bye Bye, I Want It That Way. Yeah. So he really knows the pop realm, and it was really an incredible experience to soak up all that knowledge. I think we were all, soaking up all that knowledge. We were coming into Fox Wilde going, how do we do that?
Yeah.
How do we do what he's doing?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of the story of Soap.
Yeah.
I think.
But it's also a relationship song.
It is. It is. At the core of it is the idea of kind of like, I know that that this is love. What is it?
I just want you close.
That I just want you close. It is a relationship song. It is, and in a different way of a normal relationship song. So yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, being very straightforward to, your significant other or somebody that you want to be intimate with. I mean, one of my good friends, he's like, whenever I want to seal the deal with a girl driving in a car, I always put on soap, like that's
a good endorsement.
My subtle way, right? He's like, that's my subtle way of like,
subliminal messaging,
right,
huh?
Right. So that was definitely, when we wrote it, it was, 3 years ago. It's like, I don't think Demitri wasn't in a relationship with anybody. I was just, getting into a relationship with my girlfriend, but it was like, very much like, when you want somebody or you're on a date with somebody and there's sparks flying, like that's kind of what you're feeling. And it's, it's being forward, but it's not being too forward. It's like, it's a pop song. It's like, what's wrong with that? Soap.
There you go.
So talk to me about the video.
So the video was actually a really cool situation because we weren't playing live shows at the time. So we were like studio guys. We were, we're also composers. And so we're always in the studio writing music. And we were like, what would be really cool would be to, create this live aspect that people don't really see because we weren't playing the live music yet. And so we got a bunch of girls, a great female players, which they were all real good players. Like, it wasn't like we just like hired some, girls to get up there and pretend like they're playing, but we set up this situation where it was like a live deal. And Demitri hadn't really, we didn't play any live shows. So when he got up, it was like, even for me, I hadn't seen him from outside of the drums. He was always in the back, like banging away, but it was really, it shed a light on, I think where Fox Wilde is even today with our live show. And it's like, that's really what we wanted to capture, was this energy and, this boldness of, being up there and having a front man who's like being a front man and like a showman. But I think it was that was like a door opening for us. And we did actually 2 other songs of ours, same kind of video. It was like a performance video, because we really wanted people to interact with that live aspect.
That's a good point. I think that video, actually, thinking back on it, it is kind of what Fox Wilde is today. We didn't know what it was going to be, and the fact
it was like foreshadowing it
in a way, and the fact that we have 2 amazing female players in our band. It just, for us, it's bringing a light to female players, because there's a lot of them out there, but not a lot of people know about female players being really as great as they are, and we're happy that they're part of this band, and it really brings, in the whole live aspect, it brings a whole new level.
So tell me the names of your bass player and your drummer.
So we have Caroline Cirone, and we have
Fer Fuentes, who plays with us a lot, and then Kristen Gleason Prada.
Yeah.
Who she actually just played with us for Sundance. So this was our first show, first shows with her, but she's an amazing drummer. But yeah, I mean, even,
one of the interesting things, I've never seen a person like your brother jump in and play the drums on another person's drum set like you do. Like 2 people playing a single drum set at the same time. I've seen 2 people playing 2 drum sets, but that was unique. It was kind of like this.
Well, thank you.
That's where we like to kind of show that, we like to make things different and bring in a new dynamic to our show and create things. And I mean, the fact that he was a drummer, he's, it's that cool. Because in that set, when we do that part, it's a jam. And we call it a jam. So it's kind of taking people back to what we used to do, me and him, is we literally used to sit in a room and just jam like that for hours. And some shows we will go on for hours in that just like jam set. But I mean, it really is bringing people into, how like us being brothers and what we used to do. He used to be on the drums. I used to be playing guitar, and we'd come up with the riffs, and that was.
And it's creating a dynamic within our show that's a show, putting a show on, giving elements that, instead of just playing song to song, it gives it a bit more of this showmanship, I guess.
No, it is very, unique and very cool.
And Kristen is an incredible drummer, so it's also just, who doesn't love a good drum solo? It's always fun.
So this is the first Fox Wilde song that's released?
That was released.
Do you remember where you were when you heard it on the radio the first time?
I don't know.
Did we hear it?
I don't know if it was on that one. I don't know if we got radio play with that one.
I will say with that one, which
it's the new, not get radio
it's
play
the new radio.
Yeah.
Is we got on a really a playlist. We got on a pretty big playlist, and I do remember seeing that playlist, and we were like, "Wow, we're with these big names," and it was a Pop Rising. I mean, they had 750,000 followers or something, and.
Wow.
Yeah, and for us, we were like, "What?" And that
there was
really
a Spotify playlist.
Yeah, right.
That was one of their recommendation engine.
Yeah,
exactly. And they Soap was on that, and we were very fortunate to have that because in this environment, radio is great, but Spotify, when you get on those playlists, it really and this was 2 years ago, so now it's the playlisting game is a whole nother animal. So I do remember seeing that, and
that is kind of sad.
And you could see the ticks of the plays kind of going up day by day, and that's an exciting feeling where your work is being listened to.
Yeah,
and liked. Yeah. At least you hope.
Yeah. So. Anything else on Soap? The lyrics, very risque. We can talk about some of them. Slide my fingers down your spine. I just want you satisfied. Oh, let me drip down, slipping on your skin. The steam keeps rising. Oh, that's the break, huh?
That's our bridge.
The bridge.
Wow. Hearing it as poetry is very, I get it. It is risque. Well, should we talk about it? I mean, let's see. When it was written, I was 18, right?
Yeah, you were of age. It's cool.
No. I didn't mean it like that. I was just saying, I think at 18, you're just.
Yeah, man, your hormones are just.
I don't know, but I don't know what.
I think it sounds better when you sing it than when I read
it. Totally.
I will say that
even I'm like,
that song was it was heavily inspired by Prince.
Okay.
With the falsettos in the song,
definitely,
and
that's
the riff.
True.
And so it was, I think we were trying to cop that vibe of, like what would Prince write? What would Prince say? And it was, it's like. The things that you want to say to somebody, but it's exactly that. Like if you were to say that to a girl, like they'd be like, "You're out of your mind,"
slap in the face,
slap in the face. So
slap you.
So you put it in a song. You write the lyrics down, you sing it. It sounds way better. Like it's way more people. The girl will accept it.
Yeah.
So I think that's also that comes into songwriting. It's like sometimes you do put these lyrics in and you write about things that you would. You never would normally say. And I think that also just goes to the escapism of writing music and, why we write music. It's saying those things that sometimes are in your head that you don't want to, voice in just your poetic voice.
Well, actually, to add to that, that is kind of where the character of Fox Wilde came from. To give you a backstory of what Fox Wilde kind of, what it is it's an alter ego that lives inside each and every one of us. So it's kind of the ultra confident person that lives inside you that you don't really think you have, but if you tap into it, if you tap into Fox Wilde, you have it. It's kind of like a Mr. Miyagi thing or something, but that to the point of the lyrics of Soap, it is kind of this like, well, in real life, I don't think I would ever say that, right? But with Fox Wilde, it becomes a whole new world of confidence, and it's kind of this and it's for anybody, and it could be for whatever Fox Wilde means to you as your alter ego, and I think that's where it's kind of like looking back. In high school, I never danced, I never sang. That was never. I never liked it.
You do now.
I do now, but I never liked it. I was actually very embarrassed. I was really embarrassed to do those things, and then suddenly Fox Wilde kind of gave this this confidence, this character. And when I, tapped into it, it was like, oh, maybe this character does dance. Maybe he does sing, and that's what it is. It's kind of doing things that you wouldn't normally think you could do, but achieving it in the sense that, you can strive to do those things. So.
Yeah, like we can do the dirty laundry on the floor.
That's just because our mom would always yell at us about her laundry. You got to do it at some point.
I like that double entendre. I think that's a really good one.
Thank you.
I'm going to go use it on my wife tonight.
Thank you.
There you go.
She'd be like, yeah, put it in the dryer. Okay.
Didn't work out like you thought.
Right.
Woke up this morning, felt so incomplete. Never thought this day would come when you had to leave. What is life? What is life? Yeah. Weeks ago we said we'll see each other soon again, but time goes by. Excuses how we try. Now I'm looking back, wishing we had more time. What is life? What is life without you by my side? What is life? What is life? It's not time to say goodbye. Memories of gold, just 17 years old.
All right, so you want to talk about Strangers on the Run?
We could do
Angel.
Maybe Life.
You want to do Life?
Are you want?
Because Life is, I think, your heaviest song.
Yeah,
and really, stylistically different.
Yes,
indeed.
We can
in
lead
a
it
unique
to
way. This is about two friends, Jeff and Brendan Crockett.
Yes,
I noticed it was dedicated to them on their video. And so. Tell me who they were.
So Jeff and Brendan. Jeff was one of my best friends in high school and middle school. I grew up with him in middle school, and actually first time I ever met Jeff, we got in a fist fight. Yeah, middle school. He punched me in the face. We're on the ground rolling around. Principal picks us up. We both, get in trouble. But after that, it was like best friends, right? And we were like,
it's how all good friendships start.
Yeah.
Do you remember what the fight was about?
No, I don't. No, not at all. It was like, two kids going at it, and I think it was, we were both very set in our ways, and like we kind of knew the people we were, and we weren't really followers, I guess. So like we butt heads, but we grew up together, and 4 years ago he was in a car accident and his brother was in the car with him and they passed away, and it was a heavy blow. It was, it was really, really tough for me and the friends around me, because we had a good group of friends and we were all buddies, came out of high school together, and we, always stick around even through college and everything. And even during that time, we lost an aunt, and then we lost our grandfather, and it was, all these things like boom, boom, boom. And it was, losing people that are really close to you is, it's just like inexplainable, I mean, it's just like the worst thing you can go through. So Demitri came to me with this song, and he came to me with the music.
Yeah, so I had the music and the demo of just the chorus. What is life? What is life without you by my side? What is life? It's not time to say goodbye. I had that. Or I actually think you came in with it's not goodbye. It's not time to say goodbye. But I had the chorus and the melodies and the sort of idea. And I just had, all I had was the verse of woke up this morning, felt so incomplete. And that was it. And I didn't know where to go with it. And I showed it to Michael, and Michael came in and really formed the song into what it is and the lyrics that they are. So that song was definitely, I know, very personal song. I knew I knew Jeff and I knew his brother a little bit, not as much.
Well, Jeff was always like he was always stay
around
at the house and sleepovers, and
he'd always show me music, and he'd always go, "Hey, listen to this song," and he had really good taste in music.
Yeah, he did.
Okay,
which is good, and but that song, writing it, I think would you say it flowed?
I think it was the
out of you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's some songs that you take days and weeks to write, and it takes forever. And some songs you write them and then you're done with it, and then you forget how you even got there, and it just kind of, like you said, it flows out of you, and the lyrics are just there on the page. But I think this song was also, we'd written Soap, we'd written Lonely Inn, Rosé and Vouv, our other songs that were very pop. And this song kind of bridged the gap into things that are very personal, and the lyrics are there's way more depth to those lyrics. And I think it was a transitional point and a turning point for, our songwriting and where the music was for Fox Wilde. Because like you said, it was a departure. It was a departure from what we had before.
One of the things about that song is we were writing from feeling.
Yeah,
sure. Personal feeling.
Yeah, strictly from feeling. I think and what was interesting is when he came with the lyrics that it was, that story, kind of the verses was interesting. Like, of course, like that's what that is about. I think when I was writing it, I think maybe I was a bit more like, my friends were going to college. It was kind of like a different experience of, I guess, growing up and, having a different kind of perspective on that lyric of what is life without you by my side, But I do think when bringing it to Michael, it became a more solidified idea in that sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was... Yeah,
pretty heavy stuff for young guys to be writing about and thinking about. Most of your other stuff is about chasing girls, or
right?
Something.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was very much this departure for us. It was kind of like biting the bullet of, we learned how to, we'd been in the room writing pop songs, and sometimes when you're writing those pop songs, you have to dig. You have to dig into your emotions and things like that. But it's always fun. And it's always like, trying to have that fun energy and everything. And so this was like totally opposite. It's like digging into those feelings that you don't want to think about, that you don't want to revisit. And, but that is what songwriting is too. It dives into that realm of, saying the things you don't want to say, or thinking about the things you don't want to say. I mean, think. Sorry.
And yesterday, actually, somebody, Instagrammed us about that song, and they tagged us and they said listening to the song, and we said thank you, and they said I just lost my grandmother, and the song is super meaningful. So to add to that, the fact that it helps other people, or other people are listening to it, it just happened yesterday, which is
I saw that.
But that is meaningful to us, because
Definitely.
I think that also takes it to this, because again, it's a strange thing. You're in there writing it for yourself, and then you put it out, and it affects other people either the same way or differently. And you don't, even though that's what music is, music affects everybody differently, but you don't really realize that when you're writing something like that.
Yeah.
You don't realize it, and hearing those messages and hearing people say that is so meaningful.
Have you played it for Jeff and Brendan's parents?
They've heard it. Yeah, they have heard it. I don't know if they've heard it in a live setting, but
her sister,
their sisters have. I still keep in touch with the older sister and see her every once in a while. But
that's got to be emotional.
Yeah, it is very emotional. Definitely playing that song. We play it in certain sets, but that's a heavy one too.
Yeah. When do you play it? In the set?
So the last time we actually played that song was another heavy situation for us and our community was in Thousand Oaks. What was it, 2 years ago? No,
it was last year.
Oh, it was last year. Yeah. So last year there was a
shooting
at a club in our community called Borderline. And so we did a benefit for Borderline for, all the victims' families and everything. And we played that song.
Wow.
So that was one of the last times we played it. And it was,
that was a heavy moment.
Yeah. It was in commemoration for, cause we knew people who were in the shooting and, affected by it. And it was like a huge blow to our community because we come from like a very quiet place, right?
Yeah.
It's very quiet. Nobody knows.
It was just a really hard time for the community and for those people. And immediately after, 24 hours later, we were hit with one of the biggest fires, the Woolsey fires.
Oof.
So
back to back,
within a 24-hour span. And so we had 300,000 people displaced, and we were completely, we were honored to, be asked to play that song in that setting. I think we played that about a month later to honor everybody. Yeah, that was the last time we played the tune. The tune is it's an interesting tune because we do, we like playing it. We do like sharing that message. However, sometimes in clubs in LA, it's a harder kind of song to come across because our set is very live. It's very energy filled. So I think it does take people they're like, whoa, you're playing a, slow song. But we used to do it in some clubs and it was, people would come up and go, that's a beautiful song, thank you and all that stuff. But it was kind of, I don't think it was giving it the attention it deserved.
It's when everybody is sweating and needs a break and you want to calm the crowd down.
Exactly. But I think it was like, it didn't, serve the song as well as it could when people are, at the bar, just kind of really loud and stuff. It's a hard song to kind of communicate in those settings. So we don't play it in, those types of settings.
And Demitri, you play piano on this and you wrote it on piano?
I do,
and
yes.
What key did you write it in?
What key? I wrote it in the key of C.
Okay.
The people's key.
The people's key. Why is it the people's key? I never heard of it.
You know what? I don't know why either.
Well, middle C.
Middle C. Our father always tells us it's the people's key. C, middle C. It's like from there you can get to another key. But I wrote it. I wrote it at night. I wrote that piano part, and that was a rare moment where I decided to record what I was singing. I don't usually do that. I usually kind of do. I recorded a voice note, but this was a rare moment where I was like, all right, I'm gonna actually record the piano. I'm going to record really what the song is today is the bones of what was recorded from the demo. I mean, I don't think I have the demo with me, but if to listen to the demo, it's very similar in that sense. And I think Michael came in, he cleaned some lyrics up and he was like, hey, how about you fix that? And it turned into what it was.
And you took it to the studio and produced it?
Yeah, so from there, we do everything really in our bedrooms.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's all there. So right when
You're
heard it,
self-producing at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
David Foster's not involved.
No. We are completely independent now, and
so Soap was produced and everything. So to take you into that process, if we can, just quickly, I guess. Sure. But I guess it's not really. I mean. It's us, we're in there, we're producing everything, every sound, every composition, every arrangement is us. Yeah. It all comes from what we're hearing and feeling. And that's really what I love to do is the production side of stuff. And we come together and really hash things out. And so as of life, it was kind of as he heard it, right when Michael gets he gives the go, that's when we start going in there together and really going, how do we make this
pulling
bigger
it apart
and better,
shaping it, and it becomes a process. I mean, but that song I do remember, it was like because he played it for me, and I was like instantly like I'm going through this, and that's like the only thing on my mind. So I'm like, this feels emotional, this sounds emotional, but there was also this uplifting feeling, which was nice because like when you like, I've never really written a song like that, and I'm sure you haven't, but it's like when you write those kinds of songs, you don't want it to be so down and depressing. And so, you know, we did want to make it.
Yeah, it's a form of therapy to boost your morale.
Like uplifting and like, you know, but it was also this thing where we wanted to keep it intimate and that's why it's very heavy piano driven, where most of our songs are guitar, you know, it's like riffs and stuff like that. So something on the piano was really cool, but we had that, you know, after the bridge or even in the bridge, and then the guitar solo, it becomes very uplifting and powerful, you know, which that's what we wanted.
Transformative.
Yeah. We wanted it to, you know, communicate into that, you know, that world.
So this song must make audiences cry from time to time.
Yeah, I think,
I think that's great songwriting, frankly.
Yeah, thank you.
If you do that.
Yeah.
But have you guys ever cried when you sing this song?
Yeah, I definitely have.
Yeah,
I definitely have. Yeah.
Is that hard when you're up there on stage, like when you're crying? And
I mean,
playing?
I don't have to sing all the lyrics, so I'm kind of like
just playing.
But there's, you know, there's
don't cry into your.
It's definitely been like, you know, I'm not going to break down, you know.
Pull yourself together, man.
But it's like, you know, there's those moments where it's this feeling that's like, it's almost like a tingling feeling, and then it just like wells up, and you gotta like, you know, you gotta take a deep breath of like, you know, wow, because those lyrics are it says like when we were 17, like I remember being, you know, 17 with Jeff, and we thought we like, you know, we knew it all. We were like just doing whatever we wanted. Like nothing was going to get in our way. We weren't going to get in trouble. Like none of that, you know.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, it was very much, you know, and you know, we spent a lot of time together and had great moments, and that's what that song is. So when you're, you know, thinking of those moments, it hits you sometimes.
Yeah, I think for me, the most emotional I've gotten was playing it for the Borderline benefit.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
Yeah, that was just like a different deal. You know, a deal you didn't think. You know, it was just a different.
You didn't
thing.
want to be there, but you had to be there.
Well, we were completely honored and grateful to at least give something back to the community. You know, it's like, how do you give to families that are, you know, I mean, it's just such a devastating thing. And it was a strange time, because I think everybody, I know my friends, it was like this, you hear about it on the news, you hear all these, you know, about shootings, but the fact that it happens in your backyard is a whole nother thing. You know, it hits you completely different, you know, and you because you've driven past the place, you've been to the place, you know, it's like, wow, you know, and being there, playing it for, you know, all those people, that was, you know, a really, we had a choir, you know, and it was like,
yeah, it was very powerful.
It was a powerful
cool
moment.
Powerful
and, you know, I hope we did our part, or tried to.
Yeah.
She's down and out and out of time. I'll miss the lover in her mind. He's out of love, you got your break, and just another renegade. And it's a beautiful side affair. The lies they lead, they go nowhere, but it's all they got. And she's dancing on her own tonight. And he's driving on the highway ride. She knows what it's like to love like a woman. He knows what it's like to fight like.
What do you want to talk about next? Strangers on the Run or Angel?
We can go into Strangers on the Run.
Strangers, yeah.
Let's do that. I can, so Strangers. Strangers is a fun one. The reason Strangers is interesting from everything else is we kind of had this idea of doing, writing a song from start to finish, kind completely live, basically. So on YouTube, you can see the process of us sitting in a room going to, it's cut down, we cut it down, but you can see the whole process of having the idea to finishing it.
Wow.
And that was an idea of just kind of free thought, just kind of like going, you know, what do we do? And so we had it planned that we were going to film something. And we both came in. Michael came in, and I had the riff, that dun 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 dun. Dun. You know, it's all on YouTube, so you can watch this kind of unfold and how it records and how we sit there and hash lyrics back and forth. And that was really where this song came from. That song, that, you know, this was kind of an idea of just pure creativity, just straight kind of, I don't know, a farm to table approach to showing kind of how, and this was released the same day. So it was kind of like we were showing this.
You wrote this and made this and released it in one day.
Yeah, we had it set up. So it released the next day. Just the way SoundCloud and
the distribution works. But we wrote it in a day. We edited it.
It took what, like 2 days to do it?
Yeah, and then we released it.
Yeah, then we released it. So if it started on a Monday when we did it, full thought, and then we had it released on the Thursday. So,
and what's it about?
Strangers on the Run. That's a great question. Strangers on the Run. When it was written, so I had and she's dancing on her own tonight, and he's driving on the highway tonight, right? That was kind of it. And I had this kind of rough idea of just two people. They don't know each other. They're doing separate things, and we're going to see their lives unfold. That was it. Told Michael that concept. Being the genius he is, he came in. Now it was kind of like, what was great about Strangers on the Run, the title, was like the moment he said it, it was like, of course that's the title. Like, what, we've been sitting here for however long. Of course that's the title. And so he which is great, is like he kind of got the vision right away, and he was like, hey, how's Two Strangers on the Run? How's Strangers on the Run sound? I was like, yeah, that sounds really cool. It sings great. And so we built it from that. We built the stories of kind of these people who are living kind of just like...
It's kind of like living in LA, especially. It's like being the age that we are, like going out, having friends that everybody's trying to do something and get their life to a certain place. But sometimes people feel like they're always doing the wrong thing, or nobody gets what they're doing. You know, like if you explain to somebody like, oh man, like my job's just so tough, like I need to go do something else, like, and people, they feel like nobody really relates to them. So this song is about, two people, they don't know each other, but they're essentially living the same life of just trying to make it in the world. And having somebody understand them. Yep. So it's,
that's the parallel that we were creating.
Yeah.
Two different people, two different experiences. Because again, what's crazy is when you really think about it, when you think about what other people are doing right now, when we're talking, we're having this conversation, it's wild. It's crazy. It's like somebody's seeing a movie, somebody, whatever it may be, they're eating, and it's like when you really get into deep thought of it. And so it's kind of like, how do you create this story of that kind of experience of like two people, they don't know each other, but they're living these parallels, these...
Yeah, I mean, I have friends that are going to, business school, or they're trying to be lawyers, and they're thinking the same thing that I'm thinking about. I'm trying to be a musician, and I'm like, man, I should have just, gone to college and got my MBA and, gone into business. But they're thinking the opposite. They're like, oh, I wish I was an influencer. They're like always thinking they're doing the wrong thing. And I think it's really a testament to, one, where we are in the world today, of everything's just moving so quickly, and people don't feel like they understand each other. Like sometimes you don't feel like your neighbor understands you, but this is that song of like, listen, we're all like, we're on the same path. You have your dreams, you have, what you want to do, stick to it, stick to who you are and do what you've set your goals out. to be.
And to add, like, to the passion of that, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think the best lyric, and I could be wrong, you might think it's something else. She knows what it's like to love like a woman. He knows what it's like to fight like a man. They're just searching the world for someone to understand. Two strangers on the run. To me, that lyric really tied the whole thing together, where I was like, wow. You know, it's that, I don't know, there was just this powerful thing of like, she knows what it's like to love like a woman. He know, like, I don't know, with the music, it's kind of like they feel like
they
you're saying,
they feel like people don't like if you're a girl and you just feel like, well, he doesn't like me, but like I can give so much love. Or you're a guy and you're like, I'm so capable of something, but people don't think I am. It's like you stick to your path. It's like they're just searching for somebody to understand them, but they also have to understand, who they are themselves, and I think that's, at least, for me, and I think, you too, it's like growing up in this world of music and it's like a fight all the time, and you're constantly having, you're working as hard as you can, and it's a passion, but it's also, you got to stick to your guns, and you have to, keep barreling through when people are like, oh no, like that's, you're not, you're going to get turned down. And you hear that story all the time.
Yeah.
You hear that story all the time, but you hear it more than just in music and entertainment. It's everybody who's trying to do something that they believe in, or the passion that they have.
and that's kind of where 2 points. The one on the passion is like, we sometimes don't say we're going to play a show. We're going to fight because it is like a fight.
It's a brawl.
Because when we get up there, it's a fight to get people to, either sway our way or they're not going to. And that's a hard thing as an artist. Like, it's just a hard thing to face people that aren't really digging it, and you can see their faces. It could be it's much worse for comedians. If you don't laugh, you didn't do well.
You've never been heckled, have you?
I don't think so. So I hope not.
Have you ever had stuff thrown at you?
Just
that could happen.
Just yeah, it could, and.
Well, I guess you're good enough that it doesn't happen. Yeah.
Well, knock on wood, but I think it is just the thing that being aware that it is that fight. And my second point was where the bridge comes in. It was kind of this, hey kid, hold your head up high. Sorry, I'm so bad with lyrics. The sun don't shine when you don't. It's great. I just sang all this stuff for the past 2 days. The sun don't shine when you don't shine. Help me out here.
You've come too far to change your mind. Why don't you just give yourself a try?
Right. So that, to me, is also another glue to the kind of sentiment of just like, keep striving, keep pushing forward. You feel like a stranger. You feel like you feel, I mean, look, every day I feel like nobody, everybody's always like, nobody understands me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a common feeling. And this song was for that feeling, kind of like, hey, you know what? Keep dancing on your own. Keep doing your thing. Keep moving forward. Keep striving. And it all ties back to kind of the principle and the lifestyle of Fox Wilde. It's like, strive for greatness, continue to move forth and do what you love, and that thing that you're talking about. Of just
be who you want to, do what you want to do and be who you want to be and believe in it. And, you got to take hits along the way. You got it. That's what
we're all strangers on the run. Yeah. That's the thing. No, and there's that saying, like, I see it all the time. Like, people are, nobody knows what they're actually doing, they're just doing it. And it's kind of like, you think about it, you're like, yeah, I guess. Like, if you think about, like, I guess, like anything, like, I've never knew exactly what I was doing, but you learn to actually do it.
You have the passion to do it and to stick through it.
I didn't know how to, play drums when I first played drums, but I just kind of had that, like, stranger on the run moment where it was like, I'm going to push on through. And
I just want to bang on a drum all day.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the first time I heard this song, I thought, it's a boy meets girl, and the boy's going to get the girl. Maybe they'll break up. And the boy never gets the girl, and the girl never gets the boy.
Yeah.
They just remain strangers.
Strangers on the Run. Two strangers on the run.
Kind of interesting. It's like just two.
And
I really like that you said that.
Yeah.
That's really.
That's kind of what we were, because we were going back and forth when we were writing it. I remember we were like, well, do they know each other? Do they meet each other? Is it a love story? And we're like, no, it's not a love story between them. It's a love story between
life.
Yeah, between life and them, and what they're doing. It's like she's out of luck and out of time. It's like
a misfit lover in her mind.
In her mind, she feels like she's.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just trying to read. I'm just trying to.
But it's that mentality that everybody has. It's like, I'm not good enough. Like I'm out of time. I'm out of luck. Like. I've already, I'm too far gone to try this. I'm too old to do that. Like, it's just that life of that you need to live of keep pushing forward and following you. So it isn't about, a love story between this girl and a guy. It's just that they live the same life and they don't even know it.
It's story based, but oddly enough, it's personal. It's
very
it's
personal.
This very, I guess like when you write, you think you're writing for somebody else, but really it's like what's the thing? When you give advice to somebody, the advice you're giving to somebody is actually the advice you should be
following.
Yeah, you should be following. And that's
it's
kind of
easier to tell other people what to do.
Yeah.
It is. And I think Strangers on the Run is maybe a perfect example of like having this story about telling people to do, keep moving forward, but we're the ones who should just kind of take that advice. And, because I think in that moment we were feeling like down and out. And gosh, being a musician, you're always feeling down and out and out of time. You're always, that should be our biography.
Come to the next show.
It doesn't look like that when you guys get up on stage and
thank you.
Well,
drive
thank you.
the energy. It doesn't look like you're down and out.
Well,
people seem to want you guys to want to play more. So,
thank you.
That is true.
So that's
Philosophically down and out and out of time.
Very good. Strangers on the Run.
My blood is pumping, I can feel the heat, it's in my soul. My fingertips are sweating, lightning straight through my bones. My overcompensated confidence is just a play. She whispers heaven's not too far away. I close my eyes and let it take me override everything I've ever known. And she don't love in any one particular way.
So should we wrap it up by talking about Angel?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Angel
Angel.
by Fox Wilde. Angel is also an interesting one because this was another moment. I think this is I would maybe say the third installment of Fox Wilde. So if we had Soap as our first installment and Life as our kind of second bridge, our transition, Angel and Strangers on the Run ties into Angel because Angel we wrote as our third installment as Fox Wilde, but it was in the dry spell of writing again. We hadn't written for a good amount of time. It was probably couple months.
For music for Fox Wilde, songs for Fox Wilde, but yeah.
We're always writing, but I think when you try to sit down and write for yourself, it becomes a task. So Angel happened suddenly. I had gone to see Def Leppard and Journey.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went with my best buddy. I called them up and I go, hey, we met these girls that we were out and they came up and to talk to us. And we were blown away because we had never had that happen. We were like, what are you talking to us for? And we were stunned and we had a great time with them. And they asked us for our numbers. It was so...
You're in Fox Wilde. Can I talk to you?
Yeah.
They had no idea that you were in Fox Wilde.
No, not at all. They were just really friendly girls, and they were, and I was with my buddy this night.
And you were friendly guys.
I guess so. And so I had told my buddy, I said, "Hey, Journey and Def Leppard's playing. Let's go to a concert with them." We went, we had a good time. Nothing came of but it was a great time. But I was blown away by the show. I was just like, whoa, this music is crazy, And 2 days later, I picked up the guitar and I played this riff and I was trying to hash out the riff for hours. I mean, literally hours. I went in, I think at 8 a.m. and I didn't come out until 1. With something.
Wow.
Finally had just the riff, just the opening riff. Like I was really, because I knew there was something, but I'm like, there has to be this thing there. And I had the riff, got it, showed Michael, and that was when we started getting the song going. And we figured out the chorus riff together. We had that dan 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 dan. So we did that together, laid that down. Michael had left, and I just from one sing, I have a voice note of it, of just the whole chorus, just Angel, I know there's something on your heart tonight. That whole chorus was there, like just written. And then the genius came in again, and Michael was like,
"What was that?"
That's you. What you do, you come in at the most crucial points because it's taking it 5 steps further than where it can be. And this was the start of really where our record is going, where our live show is. Angel started, he came in with, I had the melodies kind of, and we called them the shotgun verse, but those lyrics, Michael was very specific and particular about how he was placing the lyrics. I mean, if you want to talk on that front part, just that front,
the verse,
front lyric.
The verse actually came pretty quickly because it was this energy, and I could feel it, and it was where our live show was going. Because just to kind of like digress a little bit, but the live show is so high energy, and some of the songs we were playing that were earlier on weren't that high energy, and people were always like, "Man, these songs are they're like rock and roll, and they sound so different than the record." And it was because it was like go time when we would hit stage and play these songs. So when Demitri started writing this, I was like, this is perfect for a live show. This just sounds like our live show. So those lyrics came actually pretty quick in the beginning. And yeah, it was like rattling. It was almost like rapping. It was like in my mind, it was almost like Aerosmith, like he's just like so quick, and it's always kind of a tongue twister, but we had to duplicate that for the second verse. So the second verse actually took longer because it was like, we need that same energy that boldness and that, bombastic.
I'll admit, I put him through the ringer. I was,
well, that's also part of our process. I'll be sitting over there, writing lyrics, and I'm like, okay, well, should I say this one? Is this
we bounce off together. We usually throw lyrics out, but when he gets quiet, I know he's thinking of things. Yeah. So when he's quiet, he's clearly got some stuff, but he's just like, I don't know.
Is it good enough? Is it, is it right? Because
sometimes,
we're pretty hard on it. We're pretty hard on each other when we're writing because we want it to be, we want it to be great. So we don't hold any punches, with each other.
That's one of the great things about being brothers, being siblings is
I can punch him in the face and go get lunch and we're fine.
I mean, it does. I think it's hard being sometimes when you write with other people, you want to save feelings and sometimes you're not getting to the best thing you can get because you're trying to be kind and diplomatic about the situation. I think with us, it's kind of like, hey man, That's not gonna fly here.
Gonna...
That's not gonna fly here. What do we got? What else you got? And I think he wrote 5 different versions of the second verse.
Okay.
So I think, and then with everything we've talked about today, going back to our schooling in pop music and writing, this is kind of the epitome of what, like, everything we've learned in a sense.
It also comes a lot from our father. I mean, because we talk about going back and forth between us two.
He's the third member of Fox Wilde.
He's the third.
Oh, is he really?
He is.
Yeah, I mean, when we write a chorus, when we have some kind of a song, he hears it. We play it for him, and he's always like, "Let me hear what you got." Like, play me stuff.
That's nerve wracking.
Yeah,
playing for your dad from Pablo Cruz.
Oh yeah. Well,
it's just
he's got a pulse on songwriting and great songwriting and catchy songwriting, and that's where it's hard because we're so headstrong, and it's like, "Oh yeah, Dad, yeah." But like deep down, he'll give his notes. He'll say,
right.
You should do this, that, and the other. And we go, no, it's like this is what it's supposed to be, and then
we'll do our thing. Take us 15 hours to do it. Waste of time, and then we go, God, he was right.
Yeah.
We should do what he was saying.
Yeah. So
and we end up doing, the little, whatever it is, and those little.
But to what you were saying about our songwriting and everything and how it was formed, that is very much, what we learned. We learned it from our dad. We learned it from, Andreas and being in the room with all these great pop producers and songwriters. They would take forever on lyrics just to sound good.
Except for I Want It That Way. Yeah. They just let that one slide.
That came right out.
Well, the story on that is those are dummy lyrics. So if you listen to it, none of it makes sense. I never want to hear you say I want it that way. It's like, what is that?
It doesn't mean anything, right?
It doesn't, but
Yeah. I mean, but the thing we learned with them is everything needs to sound good. Like it doesn't matter if it makes sense necessarily.
Right.
If it sounds good,
perfect example is that song.
To just listening to it, because they would go in and they would sing stuff that's just gibberish.
Yeah, I call that the invisible language of songwriting. Yeah. It's that combination of the words and sounds.
Yeah. Right. Would you consider that the melody, right?
Well, you have a melody, but there's tone, there's pitch, there's different elements of sound, and there's different instruments in that you use to make sound.
Yeah.
And then there's these words, these lyrics, and you combine them, and it's this invisible language.
Yeah. It's a very interesting thing because you have, like what they call like the Western writers, like like Bob Dylan and stuff, who he didn't really rhyme all the time, or like his lyrics were just like, it was poetry, right? And it was very in depth, and the things he was saying had meaning and depth, where, you listen to some pop music and there's not really like too much going on there, but some of the, the words they're using, they're choosing them for a certain reason because they sound good.
And
like they have this, it's like I don't know. It's this sound when you say certain words that just cut through the music.
But it's specific things that lock into our head of sayings that, to that point, that sound good, but you wouldn't normally say it in a normal conversation. And I think it's just like one of the best examples that I can think of on the top of my head is "Cake by the Ocean." Have you heard this song?
No.
Okay, so it's a song by a band called DNCE, but it was written by some Swedish writers called Matt, Man, and Robin, and they're amazing producers and writers, and Justin Tranter as well. Yeah. But they were in a session and they were asking, "What's that drink, Cake by the Ocean?" And they were thinking sex on the beach. And that's one of those things where
it's like a great title.
It's a great title, and I think people sometimes talk down on.
I was just thinking MacArthur Park. I was sorry to interrupt you. Like someone left the cake out in the rain. Like that line never made sense to me. It's like a hit song,
but
like a major hit song.
Those things are what makes.
I don't think I can take it. They left the cake out in the rain. It took so long to bake it.
Yeah,
right.
It's like,
but that's one of the brilliant things of pop writing is that it seems so dumb, seems so simple, but it's so effective. And I think that was kind of, at that time, soap was kind of our our process of trying to figure out how do we take soap, a bar of soap, and turn that into a concept that feels relatable.
Yeah.
So the second verse that you belabored over, is this the one? And now I'm looking up as she calls out my name to come. I don't believe in fate, but God sent her from up above.
Yeah.
A single revelation of religion. I am saved. I am saved.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is very religious overtones, to say the least, right? Like this is these two girls that are hitting on you in a bar, right?
I get you. Well,
it's a religious experience of sorts when it happens to a guy.
I think it was. So I think that his encounter with the girls, it was mostly like the Def Leppard and stuff. That's where this.
Oh, you were talking about the two girls where I went to Def Leppard with.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, that story I just told mainly because I saw Def Leppard and Journey. This doesn't actually. This
doesn't
song
relate to this religious experience.
No,
that's not a religious experience for you. Two girls hitting on you in a bar.
Oh no.
So the religious experience.
I can see how that can. I can see how
calls
that
out my name to come over.
Yeah.
Well, actually, oddly enough, that's weird.
That's what I was saying. I was reading into that. No, I'm reading too much into it, huh?
No, you're right. I think so. So the actual, like the lyrics and stuff, I mean, I know, like, so I was just starting to date this girl, and she's my girlfriend now, but she didn't want to have anything to do with me, and I was just like infatuated with her. And you actually were just met your girlfriend.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. You just met your girlfriend. So we were going through kind of this like infatuation period of our.
She's gonna kill me.
She's gonna kill you. Yeah, way to go! You should have just owned up to that one.
That was a religious experience for you, I'm sure.
Yes,
but we were, we were going.
You're saved.
Yeah. We were going through these things, and it was very much. It was kind of like an "I'm saved" moment. I mean, my girlfriend, like, she definitely, like, I was very infatuated with her, and I was, before I met her, I was like going out a bunch and like partying and stuff. But like when I met her, I was like, man, just hang out with me. Like, let me take you to dinner. It was this, and she.
Angel.
She was really that kind of a person.
So does she know that you wrote this about her?
Oh yeah, she knows that all the songs that
I always
about
ask,
love her.
So you wrote this about a girl, and then you sing this for the girl. How does she react? Is it like,
she's
How did she react?
She comes to all our shows.
Okay.
So, but I never sit down.
How'd she react?
The first time you sing the song, do you tell her you wrote? Hey, I wrote this song about you.
She's kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Really? It's like that nonplussed attitude. It doesn't like, oh, it's another one of your songs.
No, she won't find
It's better than soap. Yeah. I'm not getting in the bathtub with you.
Yeah. No, she won't like fawn over me just because I tell her I wrote a song for her. She's like, you probably use that line. That
doesn't work. I always thought that would work for the songwriter.
She's like, you've used that line way too many times.
To me, it's a taboo. I keep it very like.
You don't tell the girl you wrote it about her.
No.
Never.
No, because you got to keep it. This is my diary.
Make
I'm not
universal for everybody.
Yeah,
it should be about everybody.
But also, it's like there's this therapeutic way of writing, and keeping it kind of interpreted for everybody, right? Because I feel like if you
universal,
if you give your cards out right away, it's kind of like, all right, well, we know what that's about.
Got it.
Got
it. Angel, anything else we want to say on Angel?
I mean, I think that's
it's a good tune.
The new beginning. It's not out yet.
Okay.
So that's
When's it coming out?
That is coming out in the spring.
What's your album?
So we're looking to release this as a single, and then we're finishing the album, which is very much in line with, this song and almost Strangers on the Run. Strangers on the Run is kind of a precursor to all this new music that we're going to start releasing.
We still play it live, though.
We do play it live. So if you come out to a show, you'll be able to hear that song.
Great. Well, I have to thank you, Michael and Demitri Lerios from the band Fox Wilde.
Thank you.
And hopefully you had a good time here.
We did. Thank you very much.
Thank you.